I had to do it at least once today that I was speaking and being muted. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am back here with the super fast and super furious, but very informative quick segments with the open source zone live from We Are Developers Congress in Berlin, Germany. So happy to be here. This is an incredible conference. It's massive, y'all. But my favorite thing that we've done as a sponsor this year, and I think this is our second year doing it too, is opening the space for incredible open source projects to come and have their own exhibitor area. And so we have 5 projects here in the open source zone, and I am sat here with the founder of one of those projects, Mockoon. Guillaume,
Hey,
welcome.
hello Andrea.
How are you?
Fine, fine. A bit tired, nearly exhausted, but that's a conference. It's
You
normal.
say earlier when I first came in, you're like, I lost my voice. Like you're losing your voice.
Nearly, yeah. Yesterday, it started yesterday after at least 50 demos, so I recovered a little bit.
Yeah, these things are
Yeah.
taxing, but such a great opportunity to talk about
Yeah,
your project and to talk to folks that maybe are not even like in the purview of
Yeah,
what you
exactly.
do. So, well, thank you for joining. If you're just getting into the stream, this is a mini open source Friday, but it comes with an invitation because hopefully Guillaume will come and join us for a full length. You actually been a guest at Open Source Friday before.
Yeah. 2 years ago when I
Yes.
participated in the GitHub Accelerator first cohort, so it's already old news. But yeah.
I love it because that was an epic cohort and a great program that's still running. So thank you for being a part of it then. And
Thank you for having me.
you have to come back because obviously I'm sure a lot has changed
Yeah,
with
a lot,
Mockoon
a lot.
itself in 2 years.
Yeah.
All right, but if you don't mind just telling us a bit about yourself and then let's talk about Mockoon.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a full stack web developer, former lawyer turned full stack web
Wait a
developer.
minute, what?
So, yeah,
I did
yeah.
not know
So,
this.
yeah,
That is a pivot.
yeah. That's another story. But yeah, I was a intellectual property lawyer for years, and I
Okay.
was also in love with programming. So I switched
Very
careers in
cool.
2015. I always tell this story, but now it's already old news because I have been a developer for 10 years.
Okay.
And I created Mockoon in 2017, so 8 years ago. The saying we have scratch your own itch. It was basically that. So I was working in a bank in Luxembourg, where I also live with my
As a
family
developer at this time,
as a
right?
developer
Got it.
already. And we needed an API mocking tool, but we couldn't use the cloud. For example, we couldn't use Postman. And
Because of regulation or what was
yeah,
the
yeah.
concern?
At that time, the cloud was nearly prohibited in Luxembourg, so
Oh,
we
okay.
really couldn't use the cloud.
Like physically.
Yeah. So I created Mockoon also because I'm a developer, and as a developer, you really need a side project that takes all of your time. So this is what I did. And long story short, 8 years later, Mockoon is still running and kicking, and now we have a cloud. So you see the paradox. We couldn't use the cloud, so I built a desktop offline tool,
And now
and now we have a cloud because there is a need. But you will see that we are really staying true to the open source promise from the beginning, and we are trying to do things right.
I feel like you come full circle. We are
Yeah, full
now in the cloud times. All right, so for folks who are just joining in and never heard of Mockoon, first of all, epic name. I wonder if I can reach over and show. Oh no, you can see it here
Oh yeah.
because
Yeah, the logo. Yeah.
the logo is fantastic.
Yeah.
Inspired by the
The raccoon eyes, yeah, exactly. And I designed the logo 8 years ago. It's still the same logo, so
I love it. All right.
Yeah.
And so you had this need. There was anything out there that you could use to help you fix the problem that you have. So you
Yeah.
built this thing yourself.
yeah, basically.
And the problem was that you weren't able to bring or have a way to test your APIs. You have no way to mock it. And so you created Mockoon.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
That's the idea. That's the idea. There were probably already other products, but as I said, as a developer, it's always cool to have your own side project. So at that time, I released, on Hacker News, Reddit, a bit everywhere, and the feedback was really great, and that's why I kept working on it for 8 years.
There's probably a lot of people like you that were like having the same problem.
Yeah,
and
probably.
and
Yeah.
here we are, and it's still very relevant, right? So
Yeah.
when we first sat down to talk, I asked you like, okay, well, like what would be a use case, or well, who are using, what are the developers using Mockoon, and some of the companies that are using Mockoon right now? You say like for APIs that are non-existent or inaccessible.
That's the idea. So the most typical use case is you have a front end team on one side, the back end team,
Okay.
and the backend team didn't start working, for example, on the API for various reasons. And the front end needs something to, to call an API to call during their development, testing, etc. Uh, that's the most obvious and typical use case.
Okay.
It's a good example for API mocking. For me, it starts being a bit the boring one because it's so obvious. And now I can say that we have a lot of companies using Mockoon
Okay.
to simulate APIs that are completely or nearly completely out of their reach. So, for example, they have vendor APIs, third parties APIs they are integrating with,
Okay.
which are only available in a production environment. So, we have a lot of legacy, for example, enterprises using Mockoon in automotive industry, retail, and industries like that. And what they do is they replicate the vendor API in Mockoon to be able to test against something during the test phase or
Or
in
their
their
development.
in the continuous integration environment.
Okay.
So for them, because for a front end developer it's cool and it saves time, but for them it's more than that. It's really important and it's nearly crucial that they can test like that.
Oh, 100%. You're not at a standstill. You don't have developers
Yeah.
waiting about to either in another scenario where you actually do have a backend team, but maybe it's not ready for testing. Your front end team is ahead.
Exactly.
So you can use Mockoon. Very cool. Okay, can you take us for a spin? I'm gonna share your screen, and if you don't mind, like just showing us a few things.
Yeah,
And
sure.
I'm gonna go ahead and share all these links. You're gonna see them coming up on the chat as well, so that you can go ahead and first of all go to the repo and drop a star, because we do that here, and we're gonna do it very well. So what are we looking at now?
So this is Mockoon website. It's probably the less interesting part of of the demo right now. Just know that there are a lot of resources, documentation, tutorials to help you get started. If you want to know how to create word routes, there will be a new tutorial soon for rate limiting and things like that. Because Mockoon is really versatile. You can create a lot of great use cases and scenarios. I will do the demo with the cloud version of the application.
Okay.
And the promise, the idea of Mockoon is to be able to create something really easily, a mock API really easily and quickly. And here, for example, we have a demo API. It's not massive. There is only one endpoint. We are developer dash conference with a small JSON message. So I created that quickly before we started streaming, of course. The idea is that it's really easy. So it's appealing not only for developers, but also for testers, manual testers, for example, who are not really into development, or even there are even designers using Mockoon with Figma, for example. So it's good for a lot of use cases. And here creating an endpoint is really quick.
That's it. It's
And that's it. The endpoint is running on our cloud, and you can immediately start calling it, run test against the endpoint. Now you can create more complex scenarios, and it's good that we are here at the conference because we created a small scenario for a contest we have here.
Oh, what is it about?
And but I closed the contest window, so let me reopen that. So you could win free. No, not this one. Sorry.
I
A
love me a
small
contest.
cloud, solo cloud account for free.
Okay.
If you scan the QR code, so if people want to scan the
So
QR
that you get
code,
to click
they
right,
can.
real
True.
quick.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
And this has no backend, and it was created using Mockoon. So it's here. It's the second environment I have here in my application.
Okay.
And you will see when you try the contest, when you enter your email, and I will try to keep it short. The email will enter the register endpoint, and this endpoint has multiple responses, and it will answer successfully, so with a 200, if the email is present, by validating against a JSON schema. And then it will generate an API key, temporary API key, that will be stored here, because we also do stateful mocking. So you can generate data, or you can interact with data, and it's persisted. So the next endpoint knows that something happened. So you can easily simulate sign up, logins, workflow,
Oh, that's
feature flags, etc. It will answer to the front end with a unique URL. The front end will call this URL, is the slash contest endpoint. It's a bit similar. It will only answer with a 200 if the API key is present. And then it will randomize the prize, save if you won or not. And ultimately, it will trigger a callback and email the team so we can keep track of that. And of course, it will also delete the API key so you cannot play twice with the same email.
Yeah.
But this is the kind of workflows you can create in Mockoon. And it's a partly you see no code and partly code. So of course, when you are creating API mocks, you have to find the right balance between working too much on your mock and working on the actual API. But when you are not in charge of this API, so for example, as I said, when it's a vendor API, it can be really interesting to be able to create scenarios like that and simulate workflows. Not only one endpoint answering with JSON, but also workflows. So enabling a setting, verifying that it's enabled, etc., etc. So that's basically it. Historically, we are, as I said at the beginning, a completely offline, privacy-friendly application.
Okay.
So initially, it was only a desktop application. So with a CLI, as I said, a Docker image, so you can self-host. And now we are building a cloud. So yeah, full circle. What we were really careful about is to separate the two. And we saw a lot of applications in the past years adding some cloud capabilities.
Not in
but-
isolation. And then
yeah,
it's a mess.
but pushing everybody to the cloud.
Yeah.
And we really wanted not to do that. So you can see in the desktop application, the local part is 100% identical as before releasing the cloud, and the cloud is only another, let's say, section in the application.
Okay.
And you are not forced to use it. You are not forced to create an account. And people who want to stay using the application locally and self-hosting can. And it
Very
was very
cool.
important for us to do that.
Very cool. So tell me about the open source part of it. So what can I use if I'm looking to actually use this as part of my development process, and we need to use this team. Like for my team, it'll be a brilliant thing to use.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
for a lot of the things that we do that they're kind of more like scaffolding things. That's actually like a really cool use case. But so out of the box, if I go to your repository and clone the repo, what do I get? Like what can I use?
So we have a mono repository,
Okay.
and so I can show you the repository here, but yeah, I didn't open it. So if you clone the repository, it's the repository containing nearly all of our apps, except the cloud backends. And you will get the desktop application, the CLI. We can see them there. So app is the desktop application, the CLI, and we also have some packages to help you, for example, deploy or self-host in cloud functions. So
okay.
let's say Amazon Lambda, Azure cloud functions. Not sure about the name for Azure, but but for the desktop application, it's also distributed in many formats. So if I click here on download, you will see that it's available as a Windows app, even on Winget, Brew, App Image, Deb, RPM, so a lot of formats. So the usual workflow when you are using the full open source version, because for now the web app you saw is only for the cloud customers.
Right.
It was released like last month, so it's very recent. You design the mock in the desktop API, and then you use the CLI to deploy in a GitHub action. We also have a GitHub action,
Oh, great.
so you can also use that. So there is no real need to clone or fork, except if you want to contribute. And I encourage people to contribute, of course.
Very cool. So, and listen, that can be also like a point of contribution, just contributing just to the CLI of it. So, what kind of contributions are you looking for right now, and how can the community get involved?
So, as I always say and recommend, especially to beginners who are looking to contribute to open source, because I know that it's a thing now, and of course it's good for the CV, etc.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier, and for me better because it's easier to contribute to something you like and something you
That's
know.
great
And I think
advice.
it's super important to use the app, understand the app, and only contribute if you find something missing and if you like contributing, because contributing can be also a lot of work, and sometimes it's a bit overlooked. You think that you can open a quick pull request, and I know that for contributors it's a burden. In fact, it's not that easy, and we try to onboard them and help them as much as possible. We also do calls with them to explain the code, etc. Because contributing, sometimes even for a small thing, you need to write the test, you need to
Oh yeah.
to check if the UI is okay. I'm the only person doing that for now, being a guardian of the UI,
Yeah.
trying to avoid to over clutter the UI. So there are a lot of considerations, and now with tens of thousands of monthly active users, we cannot release everything and anything. So I think it's important to understand that contributing can be also a long journey, but it's an awesome one. I mean, that's why we are here,
Yeah.
with GitHub. So
Absolutely. Okay, well, so definitely, I guess the entry point is to go for it. Install it however you install it, and then go through it, understand it, and if you find something that you think can.
exactly.
All right, very cool. Well, thank you so much. I mean, it feels like there's a lot of happened in the past 2 years since you were part of the accelerator.
Yeah.
Like, what's next? I know you just launched your blog, so
Yeah. So the next step is to find, or secure Mockoon's future. So we didn't take any investment, and we are currently financing with the sponsorships we have and the cloud subscriptions. So we are selling cloud subscriptions, but also enterprise support. So we have companies using only the open source self-hosted version, but they pay for support. And also we offer, like, how can I say that, extended support. We not only do bugs, we also help with the setup, and we are happy to review the setup and help debugging something that is not working.
oh, nice.
So it's like a full service. I mean, I think it's interesting to do that, and for us, it helps improve the product. So the next step is to secure that and onboard more person to the team. So it's me full time and some part time persons, and then I would like also to onboard some contributors one day. So that's the idea.
Very cool. Okay. Well, so super interesting to see where you are in 2 years then
Yeah,
when we meet
yeah,
again.
sure,
We're
yeah,
gonna meet
let's meet
before.
again.
We're gonna meet before because I do definitely wanna look at a more in-depth demo. If you can take us,
Sure.
and then we can talk a bit about what it was like to build the cloud for the
Yeah.
service.
Sure, that would be great.
So amazing. Thank you so much, Guillaume.
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna share again your LinkedIn. So if you want to connect with Guillaume, you can. And then please don't forget to go to the Mockoon website. But more importantly, go to the GitHub repo and leave a star for this project. And if you are building something, regardless of what it is, and you need a reliable API mocking as part of your cycle, use Mockoon.
Exactly.
Use Mockoon. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, I appreciate you all. I will be back in a few minutes with one final project. So I hope all of you join. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Bye.